Hello, today I have a message called opening, so here is the short version. You can see the great surface you project upon someone or something, or you can see what you allow to extend. I think it's fear, not great. I think there was a typo. You can see the fear surface you project upon someone or something, or you can see what you allow to extend from within it. The ego can tell you that it knows what in particular you are going to meet. When you focus consistently upon truth, then spirit thoughts can nudge their way through the gossamer veil. Think of opening to thoughts from spirit, no matter how general or specific. I wouldn't want to lure you in with a harsh brightness. That came in the first person, so I assume that will get sorted out when I get to it. Okay, so back to, you can see the fear surface you project upon someone or something, or you can see what you allow to extend from within it. If we remember, the within is the truth of us, it's what we all are, it's what we all share, it's our unified self within everyone and everything. And from that can extend what we experience with anyone or anything. We always have a choice. We're never in a position where we don't have a choice. And just keeping our attention there is that I always have these two options. I can see a fear surface upon you and judge it, and it could be an especially good one compared to others. It could be an especially bad one compared to others. Or I can just open up the door and allow what we are, the light, the joy, the peace, to extend through everyone and everything I see. The light from one mind can shine into another. So the light from your mind can shine into mine, and thank you for that. And the light from my mind can shine into yours. The most important thing is the light, and we can always put our focus there without judging anything that seems to be happening. Just remembering our option while putting our judgments aside will help us not say, well, things don't look perfect, so what's the point of this? The point of this is to tune into what is actually here, to reality, and to allow our illusion to come into alignment with it, because we're in charge of that. We allow it or we block it. Okay, the ego can tell you that it knows what in particular you're going to meet. So we think we know. We think we know what's likely to happen, what we're likely to do, what we're likely to like and dislike and want to get close to or push away. We think we know this about others. We think we know. We think we know what someone's qualities are. We think we know what our qualities are. We think we know what we have. We think we know what we're lacking. There's so much we think we know, and we know nothing. In time and space, we know nothing, but we can remember and become aware. We can believe we know particular things about particular things, but that's pretty much it. So we can buy the illusion, but that doesn't really mean anything. The illusion we allow to come into being is still an illusion. It's an illusion that reflects very directly the light, love, joy, and peace everyone and everything is and always has been underneath the fear surfaces. That's the illusion we allow to come into our experience. That's what we're all here learning how to do together, learning and unlearning together, and bringing this into experience. Still an illusion, but that's what we're all up to. So the ego can tell you that it knows what in particular you're going to meet. And if we feel any tension associated with this is going to happen, that's going to happen, this person's going to be that way, this is the moment to set it down. And what I'm focusing on today when I set something down, when I set a thought from ego down, is let miracles replace all grievances. All of them. Any problem I would have with anyone or anything, instead of judging a situation and figuring out the shoulds and shouldn'ts and if it's so horrible or it's so wonderful, whatever. Instead, if I just remember, all of the grievances can be replaced by miracles, by the shining light, by the reality of what everyone and everything is and always has been. We cannot budge or change that. We cannot change the reality of everyone and everything. And if we allow it to shine brightly into our minds, it will shine into the experiences we're having and we're sharing. with all our divine brothers and sisters, whether those are persons or objects or animals or plants or anything. It doesn't mean you have to be careful to treat them a certain way. That's coming back from the guilt and fear that we've immersed ourselves in. It means that you are kind because they are. You are gentle because they are. And yes, we have drawn a picture of especially kind and especially not kind ones, especially gentle and especially not gentle ones. But this is the time when we know we drew a false picture and we allow it to fade away and we allow it to be replaced. And it's all allowing, and it's all something that we do together. When you focus consistently upon truth, then spirit thoughts can nudge their way through the gossamer veil. So if you hear people say the veil is very thin, go with that, go with that. Think of it as a sheer curtain that flutters in the breeze. And our job is to remember to focus upon what's real. Focus upon light, focus upon truth, focus upon love. As much as we're able to do that, that gives the invitation to spirit thoughts. Then they can become obvious in our minds. And that's what we need for happiness, spirit thoughts. So we can start substituting. Instead of saying, I need this or that condition, or this or that person to do that thing, or this or that possession, or this or that arrangement of a room or a place or a life in order to be happy, we can say, I need spirit thoughts in order to be happy. Those thoughts lead to my happiness and the happiness of all that I call other. So we're reorienting. We need spirit thoughts. And thank goodness we can allow spirit thoughts. And guess who else can? Everybody. I don't care what they looked like yesterday. They can allow spirit thoughts, and they already do, because you always have, to some extent. To some extent, all of us have allowed spirit thoughts, but we've also spent a lot of our perceived time blocking them and kind of feeding on ego's replacement for spirit thoughts. So that's open to all of us. There are no exceptions, and there's every possibility that you meet with openness. When you meet openness and kindness and gentleness when you meet someone today, because that's their real self that they share with you. And the more you're able to hold that in your mind and remember it, the more that's what you experience. Okay, when you focus consistently upon truth, then spirit thoughts can nudge their way through the gossamer veil. So truth is what's real in every situation. When I feel not good, it's like I'm throwing up shields to block truth. Not a truth about time or space, like that car is blue, not red. And I'm telling the truth. That car's not red, it's blue. That's the truth about time or space. Time and space. I'm talking about truth. Like, what is really real that's difficult for words to talk about? That's alive and present now within everyone and everything. And there's nothing we can do about it. So if there's nothing we can do about truth being alive and present now within everyone and everything, we might as well just allow it. Just allow it to have its way. Because when we let truth or grace or innocence have their way, it makes everybody happy. It provides an illusion for us of a world that is a very direct reflection of what all of us actually are and always have been under the costumes and under the stories we've been inventing. So why not? Why not? There's every reason to allow it. Okay. Think of opening to thoughts from spirit, no matter how general or specific, because they're there. So when we don't feel good, what we've done is it's like you have two feeding tubes and you've been feeding on the ego thought tube and expecting that to nourish you and satisfy you and make you happy. But it can't. It can't. All it can leave you with is a sense that you're separate and unstable, and it can give you highs and lows, but those are temporary, just like a drug. And its hallmark is instability and unhappiness. And more we can see that. So when we're not feeling good, we can realize, I'm done. I have played this game that has caused this experience of tension or anxiety or accusation or anger or fear. I've played the game. Everybody has. And I'm tired. I'm done. I'm ready for a steady supply and foundation in what all of us actually are together. So I will tell no lies. I will tell no lies about my brothers and sisters. Even if the drama has them acting out a role that looks like they're a monster or an angel, I know they're just playing a role. And their being is exactly the same as mine. It's just light forever. And it's not a body, and it's not a personality, and it's not a past. It's here, and it's now, and it's real. And all these roles I see playing out, Spirit can take care of those. Spirit can take care of transforming anything that needs to be transformed. But if my ego is trying to interfere and say, this is how this specific thing should be transformed, and then I will be happy, hands off. So one of the things we're learning and unlearning is we're learning this hands-off thing. We got to keep our hands off and stay open and just be in charge of responding appropriately to any unhappy feeling that comes up. That's pretty much our only job, is responding appropriately. And how do we do that? We have to find out what the problem is. If I have a feeling of agitation, it's a helpful alarm clock. And that alarm clock tells me you have believed a lie from ego. It's fortunate that I'm capable of feeling agitation, because it will never lie to me. It will always tell me that I'm believing a lie from ego. But if I misinterpret agitation and think it means something is wrong with the world, something is wrong with me, something's wrong with a person, something's wrong with conditions, and something in time and space will change, and then my agitation will go away, that's true. You can deliver yourself an experience of that using thought from misery, from ego. You can deliver yourself an experience of something in time or space changing, and then your agitation going away temporarily. But guess what? It just went into hiding. It doesn't mean leaving your agitation. It means continuing to feed upon, my language, my agitation. So that's not a solution. I have to come back to the foundational helper here, is that believing the lies my ego tells me keeps me in the instability, and setting aside the lies my ego tells me and turning toward a reminder of truth reorients me toward true stability that I share with everyone and everything right now. What is real? What is here? What's available for all of us? What can all of us draw upon together? What can all of us express? What can all of us share? What can all of us draw into our experiences with one another? Truth, joy, innocence. Spirits delivering to us an illusion that reflects as directly as possible what we all share in love, in equality. And that's not highs and lows. It's stability. It's peace that's not relative peace. It comes from the stability all of us share right now. So we can't take one of our brothers or sisters and put them outside of our circle and say, this one is unstable. What we do is we look deep into them and see that their stability is ours, and it's such a gift, and we're so grateful to them, to their being. We don't have to worry about their person, their personality, their body, their past, their actions, their words, none of that. We don't have to worry about any of that. All we do is look deep, 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 deep into them as a being. And we remember, you can remember who you are. You can remember the self you share with everyone. You remember, you become aware. You can become aware of the self you share with everyone. I can become aware of the self I share with you. And I become aware that this self is the stable piece. It doesn't have an opposite. And I can rest there. I can rest there, and I don't have to leave it. When I leave it, it's my habit and my choice, and that's okay. Spirit's here to help me. The Spirit in you is here to help me. I have help everywhere, in everything. There's nowhere that help is not. Okay. don't know where I am. I'm going to guess that I'm here. Think of opening to thoughts from Spirit, no matter how general or specific. So we don't know the thoughts Spirit is going to send us, but we develop faith and trust that they're good guardians of everyone's peace and happiness, and they're good guides. And we learn to allow all of our speech and action to come from the Spirit thoughts. Sometimes they're general. Sometimes they're specific. It can seem to take years to allow the very specific ones to come in consistently. All of us get very specific thoughts from Spirit intermittently. All of us do. But now we're going to come into a consistency together where it's not so confusing and where we can draw Spirit through the ones we're with. That's not overriding their will. When you draw Spirit through the ones you're with, you believe in them. You see them as they are. You remember them. You become aware of them. And that's not overriding their separate will. Their separate will is a fear surface. I got to use I language. And let's say me and you, okay? Your separate will is a fear surface I'm projecting on you. It's my illusion that I see instead of who you are. But then when I remember you and I become aware of you, I allow Spirit to shine through you. And you can do the same for me. We're the same self. That's what we learn to do for each other. So as we open up to this, we allow the Spirit thoughts that come through to be very specific, and we trust them. And so we allow Spirit to guide all of our words, all of our actions. There's this middle ground where we're still judging actions really harshly and saying, I shouldn't be doing this, I should be doing that. And that softens and melts and fades. We have to just keep confronting the thoughts that we're still grabbing and taking from ego, trying to have some control over our experience. It's a very deep habit, but it's crumbling, it's falling apart, it's fading away. Think of opening to thoughts from Spirit, no matter how general or specific. One way you could think of this is that there's a pool of thoughts for all of us. Let's say we're in a conversation together, and each one of us is going to get thoughts about what to say. And we can both draw from this pool of our shared mind. Our shared mind is a vast, beautiful, open, loving space, and every thought in it is loving and gentle and kind. And it doesn't mean you have to enact a facade being gentle, loving, and kind. We've had plenty of practice faking things. We know the difference. It's like there's this, huge lake that's the same lake that everybody can draw from in an interaction. When you're thinking of someone, you can draw from the same resource and have faith and have confidence that you're guided together, you're safe, you're held, you're loved, you're shown the way together, all together, in the context of whoever you think you're with, and in the context of what you view as the entire world. All together now is a Beatles song that comes to my mind again and again. So this is what we're learning. We're learning the all together now and how to allow that. Okay. I wouldn't want to lure you in with a harsh brightness. So this was when I was being shown what I regard as myself, like the body, the personality, and how it seems to bop about, do things and say things in this world. And I wouldn't want to, I know what I'm supposed to say. I gotta take a minute. Okay, the ego can want a bright shining because we think with a bright shining we'll get attention, approval, resources, maybe financial abundance if we manage to take some form of success and use it in some way. We think we'll get the stuff we need by shining more brightly than another. And that's kind of a harsh brightness. It's no reason to feel guilty if it seems you're particularly successful at something and shining brightly. That's not where I'm going with it. It's whatever abilities we seem to have, we all know Spirit can use those. But ego would want to come in and turn up the volume on those and use them. And so there's a learning for us and for me where we don't interfere. So Spirit's flowing and we don't try to add anything to that. What the flow of Spirit through me and you and everything and everyone simultaneously is obviously more than enough. It's anything anyone could ever want. So it's like the trying to be someone or trying to be successful in a particular way melts, fades, stops. And it's a relief to have that striving over with. And kind of the only striving left is I need to be aware. I need to be aware of when ego is taking over. And as I go through the layers, I see like, oh, there's this underlying agitation that seems to be here almost all the time. What am I going to do about that? Nothing. Ego is not going to do anything about it. But being aware of how we feel, we get more and prioritizing that, we get more and more sensitive to feeling. And when we start to understand there is this stress that kind of drives everything forward and keeps things, they seem to vibrate in agitation with one another, and there's like this struggle for survival, then we know exactly what to turn over to Spirit. And then we let that crumble and melt and fade away. So all day we're just giving away what doesn't serve any of us together, and then it benefits all of us together. So I wouldn't want to lure you in with a harsh brightness. I'd rather share. We can just share the exquisite beauty of the being all of us have and are right now, and have a willingness to see it and experience it everywhere. Sharing feels much better than trying to shine brightly and trying to maintain that, and then trying to appreciate others without realizing they are you. Their light, their shining is your shining. It's much easier when it's just all one piece and you're willing to see it everywhere and you're willing to allow it flow everywhere. It's much easier when it's all one piece. So I'm saying this as the ideas are being given to me, and I understand it because I'm having the experience to an extent, but it's also being delivered to me as a message for me so I can really sink into it and understand and allow my orientation during the day, like to be reminded that shared shining is so much easier and so much happier than any trying to shine bright. And it seems that, we're trained to try to shine bright in particular ways. And now to be able to let all of that go, we're the ones who thought up that fantasy of another being training us, right? We're always making our experience with thoughts. So we weren't a victim to it. But now to be able to drop it and let it go, what a relief. What a relief for everybody. What a benefit. And we're still provided for as we allow and experience what seem like new ways of being, but there actually are just most natural ways of being. We're still provided for, and we find out how we are as we go, because we couldn't have gotten this far without expanding and deepening into our trust and faith together. A trust we share, so we draw on together. A faith we share, not a religious faith. It's just like faith in what is real, that we draw on together. And as we draw on it, we illuminate it for everyone and everything, even if they don't seem to realize it. It's like turning on the light in our shared mind and making it brighter so everyone can be aware of it. Okay, I think that's everything. So have a beautiful day and happy healing.